Sun Life Financial காப்புறுதி முகவர் அஜித் சபாரட்னம் வழங்கும் சிகரம் தொடும் மனிதர்கள் பவர்ட் பை ஆல் ரிஸ்க் இன்சூரன்ஸ் முகவர் சுரேன் நவரனராஜா. மீண்டும் ஒரு முறை சிகரம் தொடும் மனிதர்கள் நிகழ்ச்சியூடாக உங்கள் அனைவரையும் சந்திப்பதில் மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகின்றோம். தமிழர்கள் புலம்பெயர்ந்து பல்வேறு நாடுகளில் வாழ்ந்து வருகிறார்கள், பல்வேறு சாதனைகளை படைத்து வருகிறார்கள். அவ்வாறு சாதனைகளை படைத்து வருகின்றவர்களை இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியின் மூலம் டிஇடி நேயர்களுக்கு அறிமுகம் செய்து வருகிறோம். அந்த வகையில் உலகளாவிய ரீதியிலே புகழ்பூத்திருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு நிறுவனத்தின் ஆசிய பசிபிக் பிராந்தியங்களை நிர்வகிக்கின்ற தலைமை நிர்வாக அதிகாரியாக விளங்கக்கூடிய ஒரு தமிழரை இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியின் வாயிலாக சந்திக்கின்றோம். எங்கள் வீட்டில் நாங்கள் அன்றாடம் பயன்படுத்துகின்ற பல்வேறு பொருட்களின் உற்பத்தி நிறுவனமாக விளங்கக்கூடிய ஒரே நிறுவனம் பிஎன்ஜி. உலகளாவிய ரீதியிலே அந்த நிறுவனத்தின் தயாரிப்பு பொருட்களை பயன்படுத்தாதவர்களே இல்லை என்கின்ற அளவிற்கு அனைத்து விதமான இடங்களிலும் தன்னுடைய தயாரிப்பு பொருட்களை வியாபித்திருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு நிறுவனம் தான் ப்ராக்டர் அண்ட் கேம்பிள் நிறுவனம். அந்த நிறுவனத்துடைய ஆசிய பசிபிக் பிராந்தியங்களுக்கான தலைமை நிறைவேற்று அதிகாரியாக தமிழர் ஒருவர் இருக்கிறார் என்பதை பெருமைக்குரிய விடயம். அந்த தமிழரைத்தான் இன்றைய தினம் நாங்கள் சந்திக்கப் போகின்றோம். சிரஞ்சன், மகேஸ்வரன், வணக்கம்.
தேங்க்யூ.
இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் கலந்து கொள்ள வருகை தந்தமைக்கு முதலில் எங்களுடைய நன்றிகளை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறோம். ஒரு சிறிய அறிமுகத்தோடு இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை நாங்கள் முன்கொண்டு செல்லலாம் என்று நம்புகிறோம். உங்களை பற்றி ஒரு சரி அறிமுகம், இங்கே பிறந்து வளர்ந்தீர்கள், இங்கே கல்வி கற்றீர்கள், இந்த நிலை வரை உங்களுடைய பயணம் எப்படியாக இருந்தது?
Thank you. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. Born in Colombo and went to Zambia when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
Started kindergarten there and went through first year of university. Did engineering there for 1 year.
Okay.
And then there were some riots at the university and in Zambia, Lusaka. And left for the US.
Right.
And I went to study accounting.
So why the switch?
It was the fastest. I knew that I did not have enough money to go for 4 years.
Okay.
My father was an accountant and I'd done a little bit of accounting in his office.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was the fastest way to get through school.
Right.
My father always said that it's not about school, it's what's after school.
Okay.
So his intent was get me through school as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we did.
So in which age you became CPA?
I was 19. I went to the US when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had one suitcase. Then I picked up a second suitcase in the UK because I'd never seen winter, never seen snow. And then I went to Indiana with 2 suitcases. And I finished university in 2 years. And I was a CPA by 19.
How was that happen? You were not born in US, you were not studied in US, but
No.
you went to US in age of 16 and you completed your degree in 18 years old.
Yeah. When I left for the US, my father gave me $32,000.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if you finish it, don't come back. Hopefully you make something of that money. So that was enough for just 2 years.
Right. Of accounting.
Of accounting. And so we got it done. We got it done in 2 years. I took the exam and passed it. And then I was able to find a job.
Mm-hmm.
Found a job, very hard to do without a green card, but still.
Right.
Got a
What
job.
was your first job?
First job was an accountant. I worked for a CPA firm.
Right.
And so the company was a small company in a small city
Okay.
in northern Indiana. It was so small that they didn't realize that they couldn't hire me without a green card. I was able to talk my way into getting a job. And 9 months into it, they realized that I could not be employed.
Oh.
And they said I had another month to go before they had let me go.
Right.
So I was able to talk myself with one of my clients. And he said he'll get me a green card if I come work for him. And so I went to work for him for $23,000 a year. So that was my second job.
Okay.
Second job.
In 10 months.
In 10 months. I worked for him. It was a manufacturing company making mobile homes in an even smaller town in the US. And I did for 2 years. He sponsored me for green card. I got my green card and then I left for graduate school the day after I got my green card.
Right. So you earned the money to complete your graduate studies?
No, the money wasn't that. I just knew that there was something better, something
Okay.
out there.
Okay.
$23,000 at that time was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Today, I make it in about half a day. So I knew there was something bigger, and so far it has, 30 years later, it has turned out to be the right decisions.
Right. So what was your learning in your first job when you were 20 years old? And that drives you through this position? The main...
The first job interestingly, it still stays with all, I think it stays with all of us.
Yeah.
The first job tells you, shows you how much you really don't know.
Right.
And to this day, that's what motivates me. It's drives me, is how much I don't know, and therefore there's that something behind the door that you have to figure out, and you have to figure out how to learn, and you have to learn faster than the next guy, because this is at the end of the day, business is a competition.
Everything is competition.
It really is. Now you try to do good, you try to help society, you try to help the community through your brands, through your products, through your business, and I think that's important. It's an imperative. But there's also somebody else who wants to do the same. Therefore, it is, if you don't win, the next person will.
Of course.
And so that's what drives, I think that's a game of business.
Right. So when did you join P&G?
I joined P&G 24 years ago.
As
Starting, I was a financial analyst, and it was in 1994.
Right.
I was 24 years old, almost 25. And
how did that happen? P&G was a brand all over the world, and how did you get into that?
It was quite by accident. My intent was not to go into consumer products. I thought I wanted to be an investment banker. I thought that I was built for more to be a banker than to work in a big company, big bureaucracy.
Right.
But with my background, I did not go to the best schools undergraduate. I went to big state university. My graduate school at Chicago was a good university. It still is ranked first in the world, University of Chicago, Graduate School of Business. But I still did not have the pedigree of those folks who went to the private schools and went to Ivy League, and then, so they kept asking me, why do you think you'll be successful in New York? And I never had a good answer. I was this fellow from Africa who, worked my way and talked my way into mainstream. And so I was never able to convince the bankers that I would be successful there, in all honesty. But P&G was such a good fit. So I did my internship there between my first and second year graduate school.
Okay.
And I did not even interview with anybody else. I loved the company so much. I thought I would retire from this company. And now it's looking very likely that I will retire. A few more years, I retire.
Okay.
And so it's getting to that stage of the game now.
So from financial analyst to CEO for Asia Pacific, explain the transition.
I think it starts with always understanding fundamentals, no matter what. And business, no matter whether it's an insurance company, a branded company, service industry, it's all very similar. That's why you find that CEOs can move from one industry to the other
easily
with some conviction of success. And so it starts with understanding the fundamentals, and finance, accounting before that gives a good foundation and good fundamentals. Then it starts with, no matter what you do, always looking to understand the bigger end-to-end picture, not just seeking to do that narrow bit, but always trying to do more. And I always want to do more. I always aspired to do more without necessarily looking for anything in return. I just wanted to learn. And that's one of the things that separated me as I look back, in that if my boss asked me to do something, I would come back with a product that was what he or she asked, but I'd bring something more. I'd give something that was unexpected. And that would be a delight to them. So, interesting. That ended up with me not just being in finance. I ended up expanding to marketing, supply chain, strategy. And over time, it's amazing how you learn and grow. And at one time, I was a VP of finance for a $7 billion business, and one of the businesses was not doing well. My boss asked me, what would you do if you ran the business? Because I always had thoughts on what I would do differently. I said, just give the business to me and we'll see. And he came back 2 weeks later and said, okay, you run the business. But he thought I was going to do that full time. I said, no, I'll do that on top of this job. So I took on that job on top of being the CFO of a large business for P&G, and in 1 year we turned it into one of the best businesses in North America. So that then became a stepping stone into me becoming the head of a business unit in Asia, and so on and so forth. But every time, if there's a moral to the story, it is, if somebody asks you to do something more. Take the extra mile, and it's amazing how much one learns and one grows from that process.
It's very important. We are having CEO of Asia Pacific, P&G. Everybody knows about P&G, but we would like to know from a person who has been with P&G for more than 20 years, what is P&G and what are the products they have?
First of all, let me start with P&G is a family. We have 100,000 people, of which 10,000 are in my part of the world. But I know almost everyone by name.
All 10,000?
Not all 10,000, but if I go to the headquarters, and I've got headquarters in every country in APAC, Asia Pacific, and it's important. It's important to have that linkage. And one would think in a big company, that's not possible. I found, and the reason I love this company from day one is of that familial. Then you get to the brands everyday products. If I go into, homes, I go into my brother-in-law's house, I'll see my brands in there. It's not because I asked them to buy it, it's because that's what they use. It is the most famous brands that you can buy. The best dishwashing, the best laundry soaps, the best skincare, the best diaper.
Everything. All personal care and home care.
And then the third aspect is because of that need to be superior. I expect my people to be superior. So again, I always say that if we're competing against anybody else, when I talk to my teams, I say, I would not want to be on the other side of us. It should be a no contest. It should be a no contest. That's how good you have to be.
Right.
And that raises the bar, raises the standard, and then you get infinite resources. When you have a company that's $65 billion, it's never about resources. We have more resources than we know what to do with. It's a matter of channeling those resources, focusing them, and when we do, it is indeed a no contest.
Right. You were born in Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
raised in Africa,
Yeah.
studied in US,
Yeah.
now managing a different part of the world.
Yeah.
How do you get the aspects of Asia Pacific, and how do you get to know the needs of the people who are living in Asia Pacific? As a leader, you should know everything about their needs and all.
You do. It's a very insightful comment. I think at the end, the humans are humans, and there are certain needs that drives us all. And you go past the foundational stuff of food, shelter. There's certain aspirations that every parent tries to instill into the child. There's not a single parent in any culture that doesn't want their child to do better than them.
Right.
None. There isn't a single society that doesn't aspire to look back and say that I am better today than I was 10 years ago. Not a single. So therefore, then you look past the ethnic differences, the
cultural.
religious, cultural, societal, and you look at a commonality of aspiration. That aspiration is what you tap into. So you go into somebody's home and you see. I'll tell you one of my favorite businesses, toothbrushes. Oral-B, Crest is mine.
Yeah.
Toothbrushes. You start somebody who takes a basic toothbrush, but they aspire to have a better toothbrush. At the end of the day, having dental hygiene and having is one of the most important aspects, no matter whether you're a consumer 2 or consumer 1 or consumer 1 plus. That's how we segment, right? You can say that for everything, for shampoos, for diapers, for skin treatments, and that understanding and that need for superiority in the product is what drives business no matter where. No one wants to settle for second.
Of course. So managing 10,000 people in Asia Pacific, leading a brand name company, the multinational company in the world, P&G, Maheswaran, Siranjan, talking with us, sharing his knowledge, sharing his thoughts. So if you want to rate you as a family member versus a leader of the Procter & Gamble company, which role makes you more happy?
They're both equally happy. It's interesting because before we're talking about how one balances.
Yeah.
There's two ways to look at it. One way to look at it is there's only 7 days and only 24 hours in a day.
Everybody has.
Everybody has, same.
Right.
All of us have the same 7 days, 7/24. The other way to look at it is you've got 7 days, 24 hours, but there's 60 minutes in every hour. There's a ton of time. It's just what one has to do is look at how much time we all waste. And wasting time is up to each person. But to me, I define time wasted is when I do things that I do not enjoy doing.
Oh, yeah?
And so every year, I try to get even sharper in eliminating the things that waste time. I'll give you examples. In this job, I have to read a lot. If I just waited to get onto my stuff from the time I get to work, no matter how late I'm willing to stay or want to stay, it's impossible. I have now fine-tuned the art that I enjoy driving,
Right.
but in Singapore I don't as much. Because why? It's short distances, start, stop.
Right.
So who drives? My wife drives.
Oh.
I've learned to read in the car. So my secretary gives me binders. I take the binder no matter where I go. My three boys, they're 19, 17, and 15. They're avid ball players, basketball, soccer.
Okay.
I go to every one of their games. And I go even in the middle of the day. It's scheduled into my calendar. If I'm in town, I always go. But when I'm going to the game and at the game, when they're not playing, I'm catching up on my reading. I no longer watch other kids play. When they were younger, I watched the whole game. Today, I don't have time. When they're on the court, my wife will nudge me and say, boys on the court, I'll watch. I'll be the loudest parent in the stand. When they get off the court, I'm back to doing my stuff. So again, I'll give you two small examples, but that gives me another hour in the day. I take all my calls now when I'm driving to the airport or at the airport because that's dead time. Many people just wander. I've seen others just sit in the car and relax.
Right.
For me, those are all time loss.
How do you set the goals? And do you have any special mechanism to set your short-term goal, long-term goal, or daily goals? Because as a leader, we should like to know or learn how do you set the goals and achieve them.
I used to have 5-year goals. And then I found that every 5 years when I look back, I beat those goals by 2x and 3 times.
Okay.
So I've stopped putting those goals. They're a waste of time. I know you're supposed to have that. I know generally where I want to go. I want to lead large businesses. That's where I want to go. How big? I don't know. I mean, right now I've got a few $1 billion under me. Maybe in the future, more billions. I don't know. There's another vector, which is how good do you do to society. Again, that's another area where, in terms of impact. So, short answer is no. I no longer have short. I know this is something that.
Don't you believe in goals at all, or you believed in past and now?
I believe in the horizon. I believe in reaching for the horizon. But like the horizon, the closer you get to it, the further away it seems, because it just keeps going away and away, right? Setting these 5-year goals, I found, or 3-year goals, I found that I shortchange myself. That's not to say there isn't daily goals. For me, every interaction has to be a positive interaction. Any interaction with a customer or competitor, I have to win. This month, I have to gain share versus the next guy. This year, I have to make more money than last year.
Right.
Yeah, those are goals.
Okay.
But beyond that, in terms of personal, I tend to no longer define it narrowly because I find that the possibilities of this life is amazing. And therefore, there's no point shortchanging yourself with something that only I can see for now. Because I know tomorrow I'll see further than today.
Okay. This is going to be a tough question, but I have to ask that. I've been with this company for more than 25 years, and you proved yourself as a good leader and managing 10,000 people and $1 billion business. In any time, any point of time, did you think about being an entrepreneur or being your own boss to run a business in your own rather than doing a job under some branded companies?
Absolutely. Anytime things don't go well, I think there's a natural tendency to say, I think I can do this better by myself.
Right. So what
holds me back? What holds me back? At the end of the day, every day I'm convinced that the resources I have at my disposal cannot be matched by
do you think
that
that's kind of a comfort zone?
It's a comfort zone, for sure, because I look at what I can bring. For example, I'll give you an example. I've got a big set of new products going into Japan next 3 months. And we were thinking about how best to create excitement and awareness with our customers. And we've got thousands because Japan is very fragmented. Right. I set up, and again the team did a fantastic job in which we spent $1 million just to set up roadshows. So you take the product, you put them in, we rented big facilities in 3 cities, and we brought customers in. Right. About 50 customers came in, and they walked away saying, wow, we had demos, we had, it was amazing, whole houses. Right. Do you think I can do that if I was on my own? No chance.
Why?
No chance. $1 million just to spend 3 weeks to bring the profile? Only PNG can do that.
Yeah, that's fine, but the PNG has started in a point of 1800 centuries with two young guys.
Correct.
Why don't you?
Sure, if I want to start small, but I have no desire to start small. I like running billions of dollars.
So that's the point.
I think that's the point.
Right.
In some ways, running a few million here and there is no longer seemingly as fun.
Right.
I spend every year over $1 billion.
Yeah.
This is just advertising.
Right.
It's TV.
Yeah.
What I spend on TV is over $1 billion. To go and now scrape the barrel for $500,000 here, $1 million here, $2 million there is no longer fun. I'd rather be doing something else, I think, after having the taste of what I do today.
How do you want to share your knowledge and your experience to the younger generation who are watching or who are interacting with you?
Yeah.
You have an amazing skills and amazing knowledge, but being an entrepreneur or being your own boss, you can have a lot of chances to share those knowledges with others. But in this position, how do you want to share, how you can share the knowledge with others?
I think a few ways. First is what I did as I was learning, I still do, is look at the path of others and see, not exactly, because none of us are the same. And each one of us has a very successful track record. All of us believe that we have the best track record, right? But what we do is, where are those life inflection moments for people that I respect? And I found invariably the first moral is, those who take the biggest jumps get the biggest gains. That risk actually does pay out into reward. If I had not gone from Africa to the States and I had continued to university, waited for the university to open, I'm not sure I'd be where I am today.
Right.
If I had accepted that no green card, I will go do something else, I think I would not be where I am today. If I had not moved from accounting to finance to marketing to general management, each of them a big step, because I could have easily stayed in the path, then I don't think I'd be here today. So that's the first step, is take the big leap and trust that at the end of the day we're blessed to have what we have, that no looking back. The second is, never let anybody else out detail you, out penetrate you. Those who like to stay at the surface for whatever reason, typically not as successful. No matter what you do in life, you have to go touch bottom. In fact, in my company, I ask everybody for a concept of 3D. And this is something that's a mantra: depth, deliberate, and daring.
Right.
Depth means you need to always know more than your boss. Never let your boss know more than you. Even if they have many years over you, on your area, you need to know more. Deliberate, be clear what you stand for, but equally clear what you don't want to do.
Right.
And daring, don't let anybody else have more guts than you. Because the PNG, with the background we have, there's very few decisions that will take us down. Very few.
Yeah.
So therefore, we can operate with a confidence that I want the younger folks to operate with.
Right. How do you differentiate yourself with other leaders or others who are playing in the same industry as your caliber?
I think at the end of the day, as an individual, as a company?
As an individual.
As an individual. Individual, I think of the word is potential. All of us have got good performance, otherwise we'll be gone. This is business.
Right.
So it's not performance that separates people. Sustained performance does, of course. But what separates people when they look at each other, when we look at each other, is potential. Potential is like a giant matrix, and I've codified this. It is a combination of experiences and skills. And the person who has got more experiences and has more skills is going to have a bigger matrix.
Right.
In which case, any business you do, you can funnel it through all this experience and have insights. So in my case, as you said, born in Sri Lanka, grew up in Africa, studied in the US, worked as CPA, manufacturing. Then even within P&G, I worked finance, I worked marketing, I worked general management. I've lived in 4 locations. I've lived in Cincinnati, I worked in Baltimore, Maryland. I went back to Cincinnati. I was in China for 3 years, came back, now Asia for 5 years. Skills-wise, I know finance. I think I'm one of the best finance people there are in the company. I think I know geographies and Asia consumer. I know the North American consumer. All about saying is that I feel my matrix or spreadsheet is about as big, if not bigger than most. I think that will separate from somebody who has a more narrow set of experiences or skills. Which is why, towards your earlier question, when you ask folks, what is one of the biggest things one can do, is build that spreadsheet. take on the experiences, take on the skills, don't stay narrow. If you started as an accountant, accounting is lovely. My father's chartered accountant, I'm a CP, I'm proud of it.
Right.
Go do other things. It can be an AM, do finance, do marketing, geography. Don't stay in one. If you were fortunate enough to come to this blessed country of Canada, don't stay here. Go somewhere else. Right? Many people came here because we were coming from other places with the troubles and all that.
Right.
If you're blessed to come here, do what I have done in some ways, which is go out. You can always come back because we are fortunate to have the route now. But you don't have to stay here for 20, 30 years. It's better to go seek experiences, and that will pay out in the long run.
You have to be a river. That's there.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. Thank you very much for being with us and sharing your knowledge, and we'll wish you good luck in your future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Siranjan. Thank you. Sikaram Thodum மனிதர்கள் சுரஞ்சன் மகேஸ்வரன் PNG நிறுவனத்தின் ஏசியா பசிபிக் பிராந்தியத்தின் பிரதான நிறைவேற்று அதிகாரி. அவரை கனடாவிற்கான ஒரு குறுகிய விஜயத்தின் போது சந்திக்க கிடைத்தது பெருமை. இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியின் வாயிலாக அவருடைய அனுபவங்கள், அவருடைய வளர்ச்சி, அவருடைய படிப்பினைகளை கொண்டு நாங்களும் பல்வேறு பாடங்களை கற்றுக்கொள்ள முடியும் என்ற நம்பிக்கையோடு நாங்களும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியிலிருந்து விடைபெறுகிறோம். நன்றி, வணக்கம். நன்றி.
Thank you.